Good Saturday afternoon, Chameleon Academy, and welcome to this Saturday Chameleon Workshop. Today we're going to be doing cage reviews because all of you demanded cage review Saturday, and so thus it is. Now, if you are watching this on replay, just know that this happens every Saturday at 12 noon Pacific, and you can join live. We have a rip-roaring chat always going on. And there have been some early people, and oh my goodness, I have a lot to catch up on. What's going on over here? Somebody had a pregame party here. So, hello, Joanne from Canada. And Jiker Mancini, you know what? I forget where you're from. I'm sure you're going to remind me. Image Base. I haven't seen that name before, I don't think. Hello, welcome to Image Base. And Chris and Stephanie from Arizona. Hello. Whew. All right, Asti Bella, Steve Hefner, Joanne. Oh, okay. Jiker Mancini is from Georgia. Okay, and Robin. All right, Alicia. Hello. All right, let's see where everybody is. Nate's here. Marcia. So, and Flick from Northern Ireland. Almost lost track of time. Yes. All over there. Hello, Janet. Hello, Dustin. And Leander from Denmark. And Mikey Ben. Sounds like your mic is set to the wrong source. Thank you, Mr. Nate Rowley. Let's see if I can figure this out. You're right. You're right.
Thank you, Nate, for that. Please let me know. For you to call me John. Excellent, excellent. Thank you, thank you. Hello, John. Mr. Nate Rowley, my equipment technician. How am I sounding now? Has the audio been fixed? Thank you very much, everybody. And if there's any problem in the camera or the mic, please say something and I will get it fixed. That sounds better now. Excellent. Woo. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. And we do all this technical stuff. So let's see. Annette is saying, tempted to try an outdoor enclosure for my lateralis as well. Mikey. Annette, you would do great. Where you are, your Furtz for lateralis would do great outdoors for much of the year. So that is something to consider. They come from a wide range of areas, and so they're pretty hardy beasts, especially if you're acclimating them outside. They can take a lot of ups and downs. As long as you have a clear skies during the day, which I think you do, I'm pretty sure you do, for most of the year, then they can handle the nighttime lows that you get. So, all right, what's going on, everybody? It's time. Okay, as everything goes slowly here, but I've got my alocasia back there. This alocation that's going into the new Parsons enclosure here, and the reason why it's in there is so it can start adapting to the light that it will encounter in that cage. And the reason why the light isn't on right now is because that is a Dragonstrand cage, and Dragonstrand cages are specifically designed to reflect the light back into the cage. And so when I turn on that light and there's nothing there to dampen it, I get this little sun. It's a complete sun back there. Not hot, it's just very bright. And that's exactly what it's supposed to do. It keeps our chameleons well lit, which is what they like. But on camera, it's not a good thing. She says, Annette says, yep, foggy, cloudy in the morning, then mostly sunny. Oh my goodness. Yes. So nice. So nice. All right, everybody, let's bring up that wonderful on stage. This here is Bordeaux. Bordeaux is one of those chameleons that a brother to both Squishy and Dorito. And Bordeaux is their brother. And this guy, he is something else. He is this deep wine color with these blue accents coming through. He is, yeah, I look forward to see where he goes. He's just got this very subtle, but it's a rich color. And of course, he's one of those. He is a mixed locale. This was an unintentional mixed locale done at the exporter. They didn't mean to do it, but it's No-See Bay combined with something else. And don't know what this something else is, just like Squishy and everybody else. And we are going to be running through all of the Squishy and Doritos brothers and sisters because it's time for them to go to new homes. I am coming into the new chapter of my life where I am going to be focusing in on Shamrock Chameleons. I am having some eggs hatch, and I need to essentially do what I say, take my own advice. Everything I've been saying, this is the right way to do it. Well, I'm now going to have to take my own advice, and that means that I need to cut down in the number of species that I work with, even though each one of them is so incredible. This is why it's so hard. Anyway, I am going to be introducing you to each one of the Panthers in this clutch, and they are now available. We are going to be talking about that soon. But let's go ahead and go in. I've got a couple of other slides. So let's see. First of all, the baby update for the baby Bomi. And as many of you know, I've been concerned because he spends a lot of time from the day she has hatched, has spent time with his eyes closed, which of course is the universal signal of there's trouble. But here we are. What is it? A week or two later, he's still hanging on. He's still got his eyes closed, but he's got so much energy. And all I got to do is spray some water in there, and he's flailing about. So he's got his energy. So he must be eating. He must be doing it when I'm not looking. So all I can do is keep you updated as to what's going on. And of course, I'm giving him, he's got pinhead crickets, he's got fruit flies, he's got flightless fruit flies, flighted fruit flies. He's got a nice gradients. He moves all about his cage. So he's not lethargic, but he spends a lot of time with his eyes closed. So, and unfortunately with babies, there's not much you can do except provide the best husbandry possible and then hope that they come through. So all I can do right now is keep you informed as to what's going on here. And Nate says, I've seen Fred eat maybe 3 times in the last 2 years I've had him. Well, that's encouraging. This is actually the first time I've had Kinyongia Bomi. So I don't even know their personalities. So this is, I thank you, Nate, for that insight. And yes, this if you see the adult picture I have over there, that is Nate's Bomi Fred, who is an absolutely gorgeous creature. So I am okay with this baby being male or female, because if it's male, then I have this incredible creature. If it's female, then I'm sending her to Nate to hang out with Fred. So I haven't told Nate this yet. I don't think I've told Nate this yet, but that's what I've got in my mind I'm doing. So, oh, hello, Ryan and Monica. You joined. Hello, Monica. Very good to see you there. We actually have your cage up. So, and my wife Yvette has just come home, and this is one of those special times where she's brought me a surprise.
Surprise!
Okay. I have a surprise coffee.
It's called a hollaback girl.
And I just told her to surprise me. So we don't know what this is.
Go ahead and read it off.
Let's see. Hollaback girl latte. What?
Does it say what it's in it?
Just 20 ounces in coconut milk. So
And it's a banana
What?
something cold foam.
it
on
doesn't
top.
say anything. That's
Oh.
this is complete mystery.
Oh.
So anyway, thank you very much, Yvette,
You're
for
welcome.
fueling the show. Yeah. Well, he knows now. Uh-oh, cat's out of the bag. Oh, yes, we needed Wilma. She would be welcomed with open arms. I'm very glad to hear that. Oh, Janet says hello. Oh my goodness. Wow, that is it's banana cold foam with some sort of berry. I don't know. Bill, she spoils you. Yes, she does. And I like it. I married well. Oh, Joanne says hi. That's right. I'm going to just yell across the house every time somebody says hi. All right. Let's see. I don't even remember what my next slide is. Oh, yeah. This is my Furcifer bifidus, the female. And I am just, there's no news other than she's awesome. And I wanted to show her off, and I wanted to show you. This is a female Furcifer bifidus, and she is just a wonderful little creature. And so someone's saying, wait a minute, what does Furcifer bifidus look like as a male? This is the male, and this is my male. And if you guys remember, when I first got him, he had a sore on his rostral process at the end, and it was you could see it looked like it was pretty deep, and we were wondering how it was going to heal. It has healed nicely. So if you can see at the end of his rostral processes, there's a little bit of a rub mark. So he has really bounced back. Really happy about that. Gorgeous green. Janet says, look at her, love my little female. Yes, Janet has bifidus as well. We have a number of, for those of you who are just joining us, we have a number of bifidus tucked away in the corner of the Chameleon Academy community. We all got in on a shipment that was specifically brought in for us. And so we're working on raising these up. We have, I think, 3 bloodlines worth of clutches out there, 3 or 4 bloodlines of clutches out there. And so you, in the next year, you may have the opportunity to work with some F1 pairs, which would be amazing. Let's see, give me a second here. All right, now I know what's going on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get a couple of things out of the way. It is time to RSVP if you're going to go to the Legacy and Reptarium in-person meetup for the Chameleon Academy, October 16th and 17th. I just bought my tickets, so I will actually be there. And I know Marcia and Renee have got their tickets. And so we're starting to firm this up. And so October 16th and 17th, we're going to be at our October 16th. Let's go ahead and tell you. Friday morning, we're going to be going to the zoo as a group. We're just going to all show up there and go in. It's not an official group, but the Friday evening, we're going to be as part of a private tour for the Annex, which is the Reptarium, which is how Brian Barczyk started this whole thing with the Reptarium. And we will then be going Saturday morning to the Legacy, and we're going to be going in there, and it looks awesome. And of course, we all need to be there. So if you would like to go, then if you're on the virtual campus, I have a post there for an RSVP. If you're not on the virtual campus, but you would like to go, then email me at bill@chameleonacademy.com, and I will send you the RSVP link, and then you can sign up. Okay, Osti Bella talking about chameleons. I want them all. you've come to the right place. You are among friends. Let's see. Javi's going to be there. Mikey Ben. We're finally going to meet Mikey Ben. Mikey Ben, who's been in Canada. Mikey Ben, you need to go by and grab Joanne. So we can meet our Canadian friends. So, all right. And yes, director or Heavenly Fraser, Heavenly, I did get your stuff just in time. So, all right, folks. You know what? Before we jump into the cage, I'm going to go ahead and let's take a look at some chameleons just for the fun of it. If you are interested in any of these chameleons, then let me know. These were hatched at the beginning of 2025. These were the panther chameleons that were raised up behind me throughout 2025. I had the babies behind me. These are them. They are not babies anymore. This is Squishy, Dorito. These are all. Let's see. I'm only one taking the little people. Alicia, I don't know if you're the only one. We're just starting now. Alicia's asking if kids are coming to this thing. Kids are welcome. We're just starting with the RSVP, so I wouldn't be able to tell you who is or isn't. So wait. Give me a second here. So okay, so in all of this, the females are $200 shipped and the males are $250 shipped. So they're all like that, and they're meant for pets only. And because they're mixed locale, I don't want to encourage mixing them. They'll do great as pets. Oh. Okay, so this is F1. I haven't named the females yet. Well, most of them. And each one has a different amount of pinks or tans. F2 here has some purples coming through. And this is F3. This is Squishy. Squishy deserves 2 photographs. Squishy is this nice tan, but with all of this blue coming through. So Squishy is really come through. And I want somebody in our community to get Squishy and Dorito because I'd like them to stay in the community. After I presented these on the virtual campus, I'm presenting these here. I will present these on an email newsletter, but I would very much rather at least Squishy and Dorito go to somebody here. So, and there's F4, and you can see lots of different variations. F5, my naming is not very creative. F6. Here is, we're starting to get into the males. And this is where you're going to see the interesting aspect of what happens when you have a mixed locale. This is Taffy. This is showing off the Nosy Be aspect of the genetics. But then you get into Bordeaux, who's like the total opposite. You can see the deep wine colors, but you see, I wish the camera could pick those out. You see the blues going through the lateral stripe there. It's like you've got these blues just beneath the surface. And so very interesting. Naming is not creative. I didn't want them to get used to my name. So when they went to your place, you could name them and they would love their name. But I did name the males. This is Dorito, and Dorito has all of this. It's got these reds and blues in it, but then it's got these like snowflakes all over the place. And so that just shows you the diversity that you're going to get in a mixed locale. They can be beautiful, but I don't encourage the breeding. Don't do this on purpose. So this is another picture of Dorito showing all of the snowflakes coming out, and those white snowflakes have gotten he's gotten more of them, and they've gotten a little bit bluer. So where he's going to end up, who knows? Who knows? Hey, James is here. James is with Annette and is dropping off some very, very special enclosures. So very excited to see those. And then we have another, I didn't name this guy, but he's another male that is takes after the Nosy Be side of things. All right. Now I have two others. These are $350 shipped each. Oh, Alicia, I will definitely get back to Squishy. This is a wild caught pure locale Nosy Be. And so if you wanted to bring some Nosy Be genetics into your blue breeding, you wanted wild caught bloodline, wild caught bloods, this guy would be appropriate for that. He's a wild caught Nosy Be, pure Nosy Be. And then there is a yellow body blue bar. He is 3 years old, captive hatched. And so he would be available as well. I call it this Gamma. He would be available as well. So, okay. Annette wanted to go back to Squishy. Or no, I'm sorry. Alicia wanted to go back to Squishy. 4. All right. Let's see. This should be, there's Squishy right there. There we go. Squishy is showing off some blues. Now, whether Squishy retains this tannish and blues or brings in some pinks later on, to be determined. I've seen females go and they kind of develop as they go. All of Squishy's sisters have gotten their pinks and stuff. So Squishy may stay this way. Don't know. Yeah. Oh, will they stay smaller? Alicia, they are. So everybody, the reason why Alicia's asking this is because they grew so slowly, and I couldn't tell why. They had the heat, they had as much food as they could eat, and I don't know why they grew slowly. But Alicia, they are growing to standard size, so I don't think we're going to have mini panthers, but they are growing slowly, but they are hitting the adult size that I would expect. The males are still a little bit small, but the females have just really gotten up there. So also cute. Oh, yes, they are. Never knew there was so much variation in females. Yeah, it is interesting. I got to tell you, if the females of the panther chameleon were a different species and they weren't always compared to the males, they would be an incredibly fascinating species on their own, with the variations, with the pinks and the peaches and the purples and the blues and the tans. And there's just so much variation within the females. It's a shame, really, that they are always next to the males. And so the incredible variation patterns and colors of the female are often overlooked. But they're an incredible chameleon to have as a pet, especially since they're smaller than the males. And so the standard 2x2 by 4 foot tall cage is a lot larger for them. It's like perfect for them. For males, it's a little bit confining. they do fine. They've obviously done fine for decades, but for the females, it's perfect. So as far as a pet chameleon, panther females, this is a hint, everybody. We all have to sell females at a lower cost just because of supply and demand type stuff. But if you want a pet chameleon, look into female panthers. Is a great place. And I will tell you, they've got better attitudes than the males. The males are quite active and quite spirited. Oops. Monica says, at which age do you think they'll be fully colored? When they start getting into a year old, they've mostly colored, but really, they change all their lives. I've had male panthers go through different stages over the years, and the females do that too. They don't do it as dramatically, but they do that too. So, there's no real way to tell. But I have seen this coloration go through their entire life. So it's very possible that Squishy will retain this. Squishy is a female. That is, she ended up being a female. Dorito is a male. If you remember the named ones. Hello, Mike. Very good to see you. Marcia says, I love Aurora. Aurora is Marcia's female panther. She's a beautiful salmon pink. Yeah, when you look at the intricacies of the females, absolutely amazing. Love it. All right, let's go back to those cage. Anybody has any questions about these? If you're interested in any one of these, please email me. Of course, I'll send pictures. These are for pets, and obviously they're priced to go as pets. And just email me, bill@chameleonacademy.com. Let me know which ones you're interested in, and just know the females have a wide range, and so they tend to darken when I take them out for photographs. So this is like the worst they will look. Mike's asking, where's Mr. Cross at? He is at Annette's house delivering some very cool enclosures, full-size enclosures. Okay, I don't know because I was told my Enkephi would be closer to 18 months. You have them post on. Yes, all of these are, Monica, all these are posted on the campus. And you were told that the Enkephi would get their adult colors in 18 months? I wouldn't, there really isn't a cutoff as to when they are done changing the colors. And so everybody's going to have their own judgment as to what number to give you. And so me saying 12 months or someone else saying 18 months, it's not like it's a contradiction or someone's right or wrong. It's just, we have to decide at what point do we think they've stabilized enough that we're going to say that. So what you'll find is, well, really, they change all their lives. So we just have to pick a number. And, give or take 6 months. Yeah, I would agree with that. John says, I've always heard Umbanja and Enkephi take longer to develop. I have heard that with Umbanja. I haven't heard a whole lot about Enkephi, so I don't know. But I believe they're in the same area, so I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, Monica, if you're interested in one of these, you just let me know, and we will get you the right one. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and get into Cage Review Day. Yay! So let's start off with this slide. I use the Forest Edge 5+5. This is the method that I have developed it's a checklist that I've created for myself when I'm evaluating a cage. And if you're interested, you want to know more about this, I have put the entire checklist. I've made a video about it on YouTube, and I've got the entire checklist on the website, chameleonacademy.com. There's nothing secret about this. I've laid it all out. That is what I go through, and this is what you can go through. I'm just going to be demonstrating it here, but yeah, anytime, if you have any cage that you've put together or you're putting together a cage and you say, okay, I want to make sure I touch all bases, this is for you. And this is meant for you to use. You can go through each one of these and say, okay, check, 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 check. If you check everything, you've got it. So this is everything your chameleon needs. So if you have a male panther inside, just take them outside for 15 minutes. Boom, you have a whole new cam. They change so much. Yes. They're chameleons. Yeah. Monica says, I refer to this over and over again. Oh, I'm glad. You know what? I spend so much time putting these together. I love hearing that people are actually using them. So thank you, Monica. I appreciate that. All right, let's get into it. Da-da, Monica Grant and Loki. So first thing I do, when I look at these things, the absolute first thing I do is say, can the chameleon hide from me? If you are looking in your cage and you say, you know what, I can't find my chameleon, boom, check box. You did it right. And in this cage, the first thing I see is a bunch of plants. And most importantly, here's what we got to keep in mind. It's not just what we see, it's what the chameleon can use. And so I look at this and I see branches going under and behind the plants. And so that is number one thing that I look for, and this has it. And so we've done the most important thing. Let's see. So we've got the mister and fogger, and it looks like we've got the LED bar light with the UVB in back, which goes over the basking branch. If you look at the basking branch, you can see it up at top, and you can see the UVB going above it and the basking lamp in the back right corner. And so that's all going. If you notice on the checkbox thing that I have there, I have all these branches. So let's go back and let's just take a look at that. And we won't go back every single time. So let's just lay down the groundwork here. And so let's start white light, heat, UVB. Do they have those three lights? Now, when I say heat, that doesn't necessarily mean that there is a heat lamp. If you've got a veiled chameleon, panther chameleon, Jackson's chameleon, yeah, you want a basking lamp. If you've got a Parsons or a Shamrock or some of these deep forest chameleons, you may not need a heat lamp, but you have to say, okay, does it have enough heat? Yes, from the normal ambient heat. Okay. Then we're going to be looking for the humidity. Does it have misting, fogging, the ability for the chameleon to hydrate? And that's going to take a different form depending upon what your strategy is. And so when you're doing a cage review, like in my position, I have my preferred way to do hydration, and that I put it in the Chameleon Academy. You all know what my preferred way to do hydration is. But when I do a cage review, I'm not checking to make sure that you've done it my way. I'm checking to make sure you've done it some way that gets hydration to your chameleon. And that's really important. If you ever do a cage review, it's important not to compare it to your favorite way of doing it. Just look at it and say, is it effective doing what it needs to do? So that's why when you see me looking at these cages, sometimes I will look at a cage that is totally different than what I would do. But if it checks all those boxes, it's okay. All right, security. That's the first thing that I looked at. Are there plants that the chameleon can hide behind? That's the security. I can't usually tell how high the cage is. Sometimes I can, but that's another aspect of security. But the first thing is, can they hide behind plants? And then you look on the right-hand side. There's a whole list. These are branches. And the question is, can they actually access the heat lamp, the UVB, the hydration? Misting is no good if there's no plants for the drops to be on. And I know you're looking at this, you're saying, well, that's kind of obvious, isn't it? Maybe. But if you've seen, how many people have you seen put together this, the chameleon kit from ZoomEd? And they have that ineffective UVB lamp up on top of the cage, and they have the one vine, and it's not going anywhere near the UVB lamp. Even if it was effective, it's going nowhere near the UVB lamp or the heat lamp. And so there is, when people start off with chameleons, there's a sense of, I've just got to put these lights up there, and then I've got to put a bunch of stuff in the cage. And there isn't that sense of connecting the two yet. And it's not like they're dumb or anything. Chameleon husbandry there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different pieces going on. And so it takes a while for us terrestrial people running around on the ground. It takes a while for us to get into the mindset of an arboreal, it's more three-dimensional. So we have to check and make sure that whatever we're putting there, the hydration, the heat, the UVB, that they're all accessible in the cage. So, okay, let's go, and I'm going to check on the in the chat, and then we're going to go back to Monica's cage. Image Bay says, my central plant, an umbrella plant, dropped all of its leaves from so much misting. Okay, well, you've identified a problem, and now you can identify the solution. Now, I would say that it would have dropped it. It may have dropped its leaves from getting too much water. Is that the case? Check the soil. Is it soaking wet? If so, then okay, that's a problem. Is it bone dry? Because even though you misted, the mist never got to the soil. That's another problem that we commonly have in chameleon cages. We mist and mist and mist and mist, and then our plants die, and we say, oh, they can't take the mist. Well, the mist never got to the soil. So really what it depends is, what is the soil like? Obviously, I don't know your situation, so I'm just talking at a general level in a way that will benefit everybody. So if you have a plant that's dying, losing its leaves, checks its soil. Is it too much water, too little water? And then you adjust position. With me, I have to water my plants every week. That's just part of my chores. So, and Monica says, the pothos has grown enough that I've taken the fake plant out of the front. So we're talking about this one. Okay, good. And that's the wonderful thing about pothos. You put it in, and it will, and if you keep it happy, especially if you have, like, you see what Monica's got right there? She's got solid sides, she's got a fogger in back, and misters going. That is the perfect setup for a pothos to be incredibly happy. And you know the next thing that happens? If you have a soil floor and you let those pothos get down to the floor, they will root in the floor, and then you will have created a monster, because it will root in the floor and then it will come back up. And when it comes back up, it is not dainty. It is massive when it comes back up. All of us looking at these pothos in the pots, those are so cute, so cute. But I like right now, I have a large atrium where the pothos has gotten down into the bottom and has grown back up. I mean, these leaves are big as my head. Brady gone brazy. Bill Strand, the chameleon man. Brady has identified, knows where he is. Yes. And Steve says, are you sure it's from the misting and not the lack of light? So Steve's talking to ImageBase about the dying Schefflera, and that is an absolutely valid thing to check. And ImageBase says was considering adding a grow light. Yeah. So the 4 things with plants, and this gets really easy. Too much light, not enough light, too much water, not enough water. Those are, if you ask yourself those 4 things, you will solve like 95% of plant problems. Obviously, if they've got scale all over them, okay, we've identified the problem. But if it's one of these, what's wrong with my plant? One of those 4 almost always answers the question. So Monica says, grow lights have made a big difference. I can buy plants on clearance at, say, Lowe's. They spring to life in my enclosure with the grow light. Yeah, Monica, with the way you have it, you have a plant hospital there. When we give our chameleons the humidity and light that they need, your standard house plants from Home Depot or Lowe's, they thrive. So yeah. Nate says the key is 2 jungle johns, like Steve said. It's actually behind here, 2 jungle dawns. I use 2 jungle dawns on just about everything, unless it's the baby cages, and and it's amazing because I can get passion flowers to bloom indoors if I get enough of those jungle dawns. She says I have only 1. You'll be fine with 1. But if you give 2, light is food for plants. And so, yeah, Monica, consider adding another one. You will see difference in your plant growth. Okay. Monica says the one under the fogger is growing faster. Yeah, that tracks. And where Loki likes to sleep. Bioactive is the next adventure. And so, Monica, the one thing that it sounds like you've got a good pothos growing. The one thing about a pothos is it will sabotage itself. It's not designed to grow out of a pot. And so it hasn't developed defenses against pot growth. And what I mean by that is that it will grow to the point where it is so thick that the water from your mister will not get to the soil. It will bounce off, and then your pothos will die because it doesn't get water, even though you could be misting it all day and it wouldn't get any water on the roots because of the thick plant of leaves up above. So Monica, I would say to you, I don't know if what you are doing, if you're doing any external watering, but the way to keep your pothos happy and growing is to add manual watering on the weekly basis. Just make that one of your chores, because that pothos will grow to expand and choke out the water getting to its roots. Now, if you keep it growing, it will thrive. And if you keep it watered, keep it lit, keep it fogged, that thing will become a monster and a beautiful part of that cage. And then you're saying bioactive is next. You put a soil floor on this thing and let that pothos go all the way down, and it'll transform your cage. You will have to get into trimming, but that is the absolute perfect place to go. So Good to know. I've been brainstorming, getting away from just hand watering and adding drip. Yes, you can use a drip system. That is perfect. All right. Apparently, all right, everybody. I got to show you a picture. Give me a second. Give me a second. It's worth it. It's worth it. Give me a second here. James is now at a nets and is setting up. Okay, here we go. Give me a second. Keep saying that, huh? There we go. That's James in the net. Oh, look at that. Matching crosscuts, custom cages, shirts. Woo. All right. And so there we have the new crosscuts cage. That's the new design, and Annette got the first ones. So I'm very excited to see those get filled up. So, oh yeah, she got one. She got it before I did. What's up with that? You know what? Thought I was special. Oh man, perfect. Thank you, James, for that. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Catherine, we have a cage from Catherine. Okay, so everybody, what's the first thing that we do? We say, is there ability for a chameleon? And by the way, no, Monica, I don't think you sent a picture of Loki. If you did, I missed it. But go ahead and send a picture of Loki because we need to meet Loki here. So for this cage right here, first thing I want to do is, once again, will the chameleon be able to hide anywhere in here? And so what I see is some dense foliage to the left. And whether a chameleon can hide in there really depends on how big the chameleon is. I'm seeing a lot of branches that are going back behind there that are very thick. And so, for a juvenile chameleon, this would be perfect. For an adult chameleon, the first question I would ask is, can that chameleon get in there and hide? And he may be able to. That's the problem with seeing a one picture here. It's often, you can't always get the most accurate read as to what's going on. And so what I do in this situation, I say, this is the question to ask. I don't make the judgment. I say, this is the question to ask. Are they able to find a place to hide? I can see we've got a fogger tube, we've got misters, and obviously there's such a wide variety of plants in there that there's going to be plenty of drinking surfaces there, and the fogger goes into the plants, and so it's nicely diffused. I don't know. Let me check to see if I know what. Yeah, I don't know which chameleon is in there. I don't think. Give me a second. I will check to see if I can find out. Okay, this is the first cam enclosure getting a juvenile ambulopanther chameleon from Camouflage. Going to be adding a few more plants in the upper right hand side. Okay. All right, so this will be great for a juvenile panther chameleon. Now, I don't know how big this cage is. Just make sure that it is big enough for an adult panther chameleon. I can't see If I look at the egg crates to the side, it looks like this may be a little bit smaller than an adult panther would be happy in. But that's something that you can work on later on, because right now this looks good for a juvenile. Like I said, the juvenile will be just fine in there and have a blast. Now that looks like, let's see, do you have, it's obvious you've got a hibiscus, and is that all hibiscus, or is there some gardenia in there? I'm not sure. Catherine, I would watch. The pothos that you have in there is going to do great in a chameleon cage that has misters and foggers. The hibiscus is an outdoor plant. It needs a lot of light, and so your hibiscus may be a little bit light starved. If you really like your hibiscus in there, you can put in extra jungle dawns, but you're probably going to see your hibiscus start to get stringy because they love a lot of light. It's only been recently that we've been able to really keep hibiscus healthy indoors, and that's because of the new technology with lighting. So just watch that. Hey, what the heck? I'd say add more lighting. Now, one thing you could do is actually, it's a no. So I'll leave it at that. Let's see. I'll go to the. Let's see. Let's look at the top there. So okay, looking at the top, we have the heat lamp, and the heat lamp goes to a branch. I can see the branch under it. The light, main light, and UVB light. So there's a T5 UVB. That's good. The monsoon and the fogger. This is a good setup. Now, let's see. Just make sure that, let's see. In your description, you had UVB is Exoterra 7%. So Exoterra uses different UVB designations. If you have a 7%, that may be the Arcadia. And the problem is, a 7% is actually a weak light. Why they use 7%, I don't know. They should have used like 2.5% or something. It's the shade dweller. It's a weaker light. The 6% is really the one you want, because that's going to punch through the distance that you're looking to get. So if you truly have the Arcadia 7%, you're going to have to change that out for a 6%, just because the 7% was really designed for crepuscular, for evening animals. And I'm sorry for I don't know why they chose that number, because you would think that 7% is more than 6%. It's just not. They didn't do it that way. So, all right, let me check the chat to make sure. Let's see. Marcia is asking James, if I buy one, will you deliver it personally and help set it up? You've got to. Of course, Annette got this special treatment because she's within driving distance of James. Now, James in California, Marcia in Georgia. That's a little bit. That's a road trip. Well, what the heck? That would be fun. I'm going to go on this one. James, you need an assistant? Let's do a road trip to Georgia. That would be fun. And Robin's jumping in. Marcia, yes, then he can deliver to me. James, let's do a tour. He can pick me up on the way. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go by. We're gonna pick up Janet, and we're gonna deliver to Robin and and Marcia. Hello, David. Welcome. There we go, Marcia. James will do anything for you, Marcia. All right, let's go on to Sean Plant. And this is Basil. This is Basil and Basil's terrarium. So the first thing we do, as we do with everyone, is say, would Basil be able to hide? And I would be able to say, I believe that that in that ficus on the right, that Basil would be able to hide. Now, Basil's going to get bigger. And so this is looking like, I don't know that I have the size of the enclosure on this one. Let me check. Okay, so Sean is in the UK, which is why a glass enclosure is probably a good choice. Basil's 1 year old, no issues with hydration and feeding. Excellent. Got an Arcadia T5 Pro UVB lighting bar. Perfect. Guy has a fogger and a monsoon. Does have bioactive setup in there, and it seems to be doing well. Excellent. So let's see. The size is 90 centimeters. Let's see. What is 90 centimeters? So that's 3 feet, 3 by 18 by 3. Okay. So I would say the only thing that I would say on this one, just keep watching, make sure that that's enough room. I've done Panthers in the 90, 45, 90. And for us Americans, that is 3 feet by 18 by 3 feet. And it's worked. I would say the one thing that sticks out to me is that the branches are all thick. Chameleons like thin branches. And so I would suggest putting in thinner branches for them to hang on to. And other than that, when you have a closed, he says this is a paludarium. So when you have a closed system like that, you have to balance your hydration to make sure the chameleon gets what the chameleon needs and you don't overwhelm the system. And so that's not saying you can't do it, nobody can do it. It's just something to consider. And so for anybody, I get this question a lot. People asking about paludariums, and those are where they have a water area at the bottom, and then of course an arboreal up top. If you actually have water down there, then it's okay with the chameleon. Chameleons can swim. Just make sure that they have a way to climb out. If you have a paludarium, the biggest problem is that chameleons love pooping in water, and so you got to figure out a way to keep that water clean. And that's the biggest challenge, and the reason why most of us chameleon people don't use water features, just because of what it takes to keep them clean. So all right, let's see. All right, checking up on my chat here. Thank you, guys. Tell Bill, look at his phone. Another one? Okay, already done. Already done. Oh, Annette is happy. So glad. So glad. That's very cool. David says, Bill, I would love to see your enclosures and setups. You will be seeing that soon. I am, as you can see, this one is getting taken care of. So I have never done a reptile room tour on video. But I will be doing that before the end of the year. Finally, you know what? I'm going to go do the YouTube trend of doing a reptile room. Da-da-da-da. Monica says they can swim. Had no idea. Yeah. And actually, you'd be surprised at how well some of them can swim. Some of them just do like a dog paddle type thing, and they just go through. I mean, people have found chameleons swimming in lakes. I wouldn't recommend that as a husbandry thing, but then you go to some like the quadricornis, and they go through water like a sea serpent. It's pretty impressive. Now, once again, chameleons aren't comfortable in water. Just because they can swim doesn't mean we need to give them a swimming pool. But yes, chameleons can swim. Some of them better than others. It's kind of surprising. So, all right, we're going to take a break from Cage Reviews, and we are going to do a special segment I call Veiled Tested. That's right. I have asked everybody, if you have a veiled chameleon and that veiled chameleon has taken some bites out of your plants, please send me pictures of that plant with the bites taken off. And of course, let me know if your veiled chameleon shows any sign of sickness. So that's important information. For the last 6 years, I've had people sending me pictures of the veiled chameleon chewing on plants, and nobody has reported any poisoning. That doesn't mean it won't happen. What it means is it doesn't look like it's happening with our regular plants, even things like croton. Now, does that mean it'll never happen? No. What it means is we in the community need to keep gathering data. And so I'm just gathering data and I'm sharing with the community. And so if you have a veiled chameleon that has taken chomps out of plants, send me the picture. And I want to share on this new segment that we have on the Chameleon Academy called Veiled Tested. Now, in all seriousness, I have a plant chart that I offer for free on the chameleonacademy.com/plants. And you can go, there's a complete plant section on the website, and there's a download that you can download that has a bunch of plants that work in chameleon enclosures. And they have this little banner that says Veiled Tested. And what that means is that we in the community have observed that the veileds have eaten these plants and not had a problem. And the reason why we have to do that research is because all of these toxic plant lists that we have out there, they are not for chameleons. Even if they say for chameleons, they're not for chameleons. And I mean, the most famous one is the one by FL Cams, that they just took a normal toxic list and slapped chameleon on top of it. And people have been sharing that for years and years and years. That they didn't do any testing on chameleons for that. And so we have to do the testing ourselves. And so I've been recording all of this. So you as a community, if you have veiled chameleons, send me pictures. And so Javi, thank you very much for sending this picture of a veiled tested on a Pachira aquatica money tree. I like these plants. I use them a lot in my enclosures. Have you had a chance to review our cage? Is there an order? Trying to balance the live and my Brady. You let me know which. I have put in. They go in the order that I received them, and so I don't know which one is yours, but I have done all of them that I received. Love the choice. Oh, if you are attached to Heavenly, no, yours came right at the end. So yeah, you're at the end there. But yes, you are in there. You are in there. I can confirm, Robin can confirm that umbrella plants do not harm Parsons. So Monica says, oh, she refers to the plant list all the time, especially while shopping. I am glad. I'm glad. Osti Bella says, my veiled chameleon took a few bites out of my Swiss cheese philodendron. Never saw Kiwi do that before. Should have taken a pic. Yes. I don't believe I have a picture of a Swiss cheese philodendron with chomps taken out of it. That would be a good one for my collection. So if it happens again, send me pictures. All right, next. John is giving me this is Ankafif, Alphonse, and May. So give me a second here. That's in May. All right. So the first thing we always do is we look at that and say, can they hide? And John, that's the first thing that I would say. Number one, that's a beautiful pink princess philodendron. I love that plant. So I'd say I look at this and I say there's very little places for them that they can hide. So that's the first thing I would say. And you can, while you're waiting for all this other stuff to grow up, you can always just put like you've got a sprig of fake branch up there in the upper right. And so you can put more of that while everything grows in. But that's the one thing that I would say that speaks to me immediately is give them a place to hide. Let's see. You've got misters there. It looks like you've got a dude of a lighting system. So we're not concerned about lighting. And now I don't see a heat lamp there. So just make sure that their heat needs are taken care of. Panthers like to warm up, but the AgroBright, that looks like a very serious lighting system. You could very easily get the temperatures just from the waste heat from the lights. You can very easily get the temperatures up there. So so for anybody, I'm sure John has figured this out. So it's not like he didn't know that they need heat. But with everybody, we don't always need to have a heat lamp because there is waste heat from our lights. And especially when we use a hybrid cage, that waste heat can gather. And so if you have that situation and you do have a heat lamp, it may be a good idea to turn that heat lamp off. Let's see. John says the fixture produces enough heat to keep the top 10 inches or so in the cage over 80. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. When I saw that, how is that like 15 lights in that thing? AgroBright. So that's a dude of a fixture. So, and once again, be aware of how much heat comes off of your lights. So, all right. Now, okay, I'm going to say something about, let's see. John says, noted about the plants, the princesses are growing fast, but I also have a pretty huge amounts of artificial plants, so I'll add those tonight. Yeah, John knows his plants. So I'm I am sure that those cages are going to grow in looking pretty good. Now, there are those? All right, everybody. I am going to say something about bamboo and dowels. I personally don't like bamboo and dowels. Now, whenever I do evaluations of cages, I am always careful to make sure there's a distinction between what I like and what I prefer and what is and isn't effective. And so you will hear me often talk about how I don't like dowels or bamboo. And the reasons are, we'll get into that. And so I just want to mention I don't like them. So I will say that just in case you hear me at some other point say I don't like dowels, and you say, yeah, but how come you look at cages with dowels and you didn't say that they shouldn't have dowels? It's because I'm still working on how much is that I just don't like them and how much of it is that they're not effective. So the reasons why I stay away from dowels and bamboo is, number one, the bamboo are slick. The dowels are rough. Okay. But the dowels are porous and they'll hold the water somewhat. Some of them are very smooth, so they don't hold the water as much. They are a single diameter. And I like that my chameleons have different diameters to exercise their feet. Now, whether those are the reasons why I don't like them, whether those are reasons for me to say never use them or not, I still haven't decided that. So me saying I don't want to say that you shouldn't use dowels. Now, there are situations where dowels are not good. Like Robin here is going to talk about how she has problems with her Parsons because there's so much humidity there. And so if you get something like a dowel, which is one diameter all the way through, the Parsons chameleon is going to grab onto that and they don't move a whole lot. And so if you got the dowel that kind of soaks in water, and then you've got their feet that are staying in one place, and it's a smooth diameter all the way around, you don't get a whole lot of ventilation there, and the Parsons can really get sores on their feet. And so if you're in a high humidity environment with a Parsons, you definitely do not want to use dowels. Now, in a situation where maybe things dry out more, would dowels be okay? Yeah, maybe. So I want to say I stay away from dowels and bamboo, but also say that I'm not going to say that they're going to kill your chameleon, that kind of thing. So you see me trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with this. I present to you all of that. I'm not condemning it. I'm just saying, I don't like it. So. Okay, what about oak dowels? Yeah, well, I don't like Manzanita either, but I love it. Robin's saying they needed lumps and bumps of the branches to help stretch their feet and for pressure points. Okay. Perch width variance is a concern and active thing for me. Okay. The princesses have quite thick stems that both climb on, and these are a good amount of branches behind the plants. Dowels are rubber coated. Okay. And yeah, when you have a vine like the pink princess, and I have a number of philodendrons that I use that are thick enough that the chameleons can actually use them. They like to use those. It says I will take this all into account. Yep, just put it all together and just say, okay, what do I want to do? Monica says, I have used dowels as the number on my dragon strand ledges and tree branches for the 5-inch branches. I've thought of switching them over. Yeah, and once again, everything that I am saying here goes through the lens of my personal experience. And on one hand, there's a lot behind that, and there's value to my things that I feel but can't really put words on, because there's a lot of chameleon husbandry that you get a feel for, and we need to trust ourselves. That's one thing about chameleons, is you need, as a chameleon keeper, you need to start trusting yourself. You need to start trusting your gut. After you get some experience and you're observing, there are things that are going to bubble up and you're going to feel, oh, there's something about this. You can't put it into words. I want you to start learning to trust that feeling. Now, trusting that feeling is a lot different than going on social media and telling everybody they're wrong because they do it differently. Okay, there's a huge distinction between that. But I am going to give you my feelings And on one hand, yeah, there's decades of experience that go behind those feelings. On the other hand, it's once again, it's just my personal view and my perspective. It doesn't mean everything I say is gospel truth. Don't tell my people that. So, Monica's experience is priceless. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. And experience bubbles up as a feeling first. And after a while, you start putting more perspective around it until it finally becomes words that you're able to explain. So Robin says, hashtag or outline. I don't know what to call it. Oh, she's talking about, I have the dragon ledge. There's 2 dragon ledges. And then when you put 2 vertical branches, you get like a hashtag shape. And then you can just put any amount of plants and branches on there at any levels. I just didn't feel like I could find branches that I could attach them to. Okay, so I think what she's talking about is the vertical. You need the vertical branches that are going to be load bearing. So these are like the structural branches. And yeah, in that case, Monica, they're not using those structural branches to perch. So it's just a structural element. I've even used garden stakes for those structural branches. So Robin says, and listen to your chameleon. They'll let you know what they want. This is true. Nate, thank you so very much for that support. I really appreciate that. See, John says, I value all the information you provide. It's been a long time since I've kept chameleons, so it's valuable to learn from all of you who never stopped. It's good to have you back, John. And oh my goodness, it's amazing how much has changed, how much we've grown so much. Oh boy, there's a lot going on. All right, let's go on to the next one. We got to get to we've got poor Corey, Heavenly Fraser's at work. Chris Torgensen. This is like a 69-inch wide. This is a cabinet that they've turned into a chameleon enclosure. Chameleons on top and bearded dragons on the bottom. Now there is a floor, so these are not connected. They have different environments in each one. And from here, I got to say, it's a very cool thing. My first impression would be, number one, branches are a little bit thick. I would like to, for my chameleons, even Parsons chameleons, they love thin branches. And then make sure that they can hide behind the plants. So that's a consideration. Now, as long as I like on top, you've got that custom holder for your UVB. And so you can adjust the height. Just make sure, I can't see if those branches, just make sure that there's a branch under those lights. And Aspen Grimes and Calypso. Mm-hmm. James is now busting my chops. Did he just say load bearing? Man, by the man of Stanley tape measure, and next thing you know, he's speaking construction terms. And the reason why James is giving me a hard time is because I had to send a video of me measuring something on a cage, and I had this really cheap tape measure, and James felt so sorry for me that I was using such a garbage piece of equipment. He literally sent me a new Stanley tape measure, which I love. Thank you, James. But this is why James is having fun giving me a hard time. So, okay, let's see. So that's Calypso. And if we look at this, a cage. So the first thing is, can Calypso hide? It looks like we have a lot of plants. but they're along the sides. Now you'll have to make that decision, Aspen. Can Calypso hide? And everybody, when we're talking about chameleons hiding, when chameleons have the option to hide, they often don't use it. But what we are doing is we're trying to give them the feeling of security. And when a chameleon knows that they have a hiding place where they can be safe, they have that sense of security. They may spend all their time out in the open, but on that one time that the ceiling fan goes on, or they see another animal, or there's that spike of, oh, something's different, there's a predator, I don't feel safe, deep in their DNA, even if they're comfortable with you, something happens. If they have a place that they can know that they can hide, they have that sense of security. So just take a look at that, Aspen, I would say, and take a look at, does she have a place that she can hide? And you can add larger plants, like you've got that little Boston fern up top. Just get a big pothos, and that could do the job. Aspen says, it always takes me a while to find her when she wants to hide away. Okay, perfect. If you can't find her, then mission accomplished. Oh, yeah. So mission accomplished. So you not being able to find her means she's actually hiding, which means you got it taken care of. Now, we all have to also remember that when we have our cages that have screen cages, on this one, you can see that there's a visual block on the left side. But for those of you who are in screen cages or glass cages, remember that your chameleons live in 3 dimensions. And so if you say, okay, there's enough hiding spots, I'm looking from the front and she can hide from me, but go to the side. Can you see them? Can they hide when you're looking from the side? Remember, your chameleon doesn't know that there is a front or a back or a sides. They're looking all around, and their sense of security is all around. So make sure that they can hide from all directions. Monica says, mine does. He's a fraidy cat. I named him Loki because he's so good at hiding. Tricky that boy. Robin says, I could literally have only sticks in the cage and I would still not be able to find. Some of them are very good at sucking all their air out, and they are as skinny as a stick. They're really good. So, all right. And so we see that there is a lay bin in there, which is good. It doesn't look like Calypso is gravid at this time, but it's good to think about those kind of things. And okay, we got the misting system up there and a fogger up there. And so looks like we've got what is needed. The light up there, let's see. Looks like the double dome is with some heat bulbs. And it looks lit. I'm not seeing a white light source versus UVB source, but I'm not seeing the top. But so that would... Okay, so it looks like you have the basics there. So Aspen has 1 heat and 1 plant light in the dome. Okay. All right, now you could consider at some time putting in some jungle dawns or some LED bars to really keep the place lit. It looks lit, but sometimes cameras can brighten things up. So, and the T5 light. So that's okay. So we have the UVB up top. Now, is one of those, just make sure that there's a branch under the UVB. If it's a 6%, make sure you have a branch that's like 6 inches below it. So the UVB is effective. Let's see. And then, Oops. Then Perry James has a this cage here with Taka, which is a Sambava from Reddy's Rainforest. So Perry loves Nepenthes. I see a lot of Nepenthes all over the place in here. Little Nepenthes starting to grow. Be interested in knowing what kinds those are. All right, so can the chameleon hide? Maybe in the upper left. And so I would say, look, there's two things that immediately strike me about this cage. It looks beautiful from the front, but the question is, can the chameleon use those plants? This looks like we have everything is on the back and on the sides, and so this frames the chameleon, but we need the chameleon to be able to use them and hide behind them. Now, I don't know if the chameleon can get in the upper, in the final corner, and hide. Chameleons are really good at finding themselves in between and under, up and under the branches. So you would, Perry, you just have to make that judgment yourself as to whether this is effective. But as he grows, it's going to be harder and harder for him to insert himself inside of a plant. Although I tell you, my Parsons have done it quite nicely. So I would suggest bringing some plants so they stick out from the sides, and instead of being stuffed back into a corner, and that would give him a more three-dimensional area to walk in and out of. Now, what is that? Is that a Schefflera type of Schefflera down there? I don't know what kind that is, but that's going to grow. So this cage will grow out. And then I'd also say thinner branches. There's a lot of thick branches in there. Chameleons love the thin branches, and so I would just fill this with highways of thin branches so we could get around. Okay, he hides in the pothos in the upper corners, but the one on the right isn't doing too well. Looking for a new pothos because that one has a massive root ball. And the advantage that James has in all of this is all of those pots are, he can slide pots in, take plants out, slide pots in. And so he's got a very versatile area here. So he can, in this cage, he's able to move plants in and out, which is an advantage. But yeah. So, okay, let's go ahead. And this shows he has really thought about the ventilation. So you can see on the left-hand side, you've got two fans, and then on the top, you've got fans. And so you're always going to be having air being able to move through there. Now, I would suggest adding more white light. You've got all those Nepenthes back there. Are they getting enough light? If everybody sees in the right picture, you see where the light is. It's right there across the front of the cage. That is a strategic placement, because when you have a acrylic or glass front to your cage, and you want to cut down on reflections, you put that light exactly where James has it. And wait a minute, James, is your name Perry or James? I'm going to use one or the other. But somehow I got Perry James Perry. Says it's a 48-inch Jungle Dawn. How much more light we're talking? James, okay. So I would say put one across the back as well. I'm just concerned you've got some awesome Nepenthes back there. Are they going to get enough light? I think what you've got here is okay for your chameleon. So I'm not saying it's bad for your chameleon. I'm just thinking you've got some incredible plant collections throughout there. So for the plant's sake, give them some more jungle dawns. And in fact, I like to use the 2-foot jungle dawns. Even with my 4-foot cage, I use 2-foot jungle dawns, and I place them at different areas. So like I placed a 2-foot jungle dawn LED right over my Nepenthes Miranda. It wasn't for the chameleon. It was for my Nepenthes. And so you go ahead and just decide, you're there. So you're going to be the one who's going to be able to decide if your plants are getting enough light. All right, Director Dabs. Here we go. Go ahead and tell Corey. Text Corey. Tell him we're going to be, or Brady. Brady gone bad, brazy. Text him, tell him we're on his. Where is good? Jennifer says, where is good for anti-reflection? Across the front. So instead of the light being at the back of the cage and then having this reflection thing, you just put the light across the front of the cage, so it goes like this sheet of light is going directly down across the acrylic or glass front, and it really cuts down on reflections. Janet says, I move my jungle dawns around. I thought I was the only one. I had one of my large atriums where I had like 3 different 2-foot jungle dawns, and I just moved them around for whatever plants I had in there, because I love plants. And so when I have special plants, I like move. They all get to their own jungle dawn. You gotta treat them special. So, all right, this is actually a very favorite cage of mine because this is their little hatchling panther chameleon, and they put this little hatchling panther chameleon directly into the adult size cage. And look at that cage. There is so many places for this little guy. He's going to be having a good time in there. So I will, of course, I've got to say my dowel speech. I don't like dowels. And I would say, other than I don't like dowels, for babies, let's see, we'll go to this slide here. See, for babies, I would suggest going in and taking a lot of these dowels out and replacing them with very thin branches. As a baby, they can easily navigate on these big branches, but they would be feeling more comfortable on smaller branches. And you don't even have to take out the dowels. You can just put in more of very thin branches. And as he grows, you can take them out or take the dowels out, because it's amazing how long they will stay on thin branches. But this cage is awesome for a little hatchling. You look at all of the places that little hatchling can number one, hide, but also get to different gradients. You've got that open area up front, up top, that's going to be giving them heat, UVB, all that wonderful stuff that they would expect being exposed. And then they can go down into the cage and they can find more and more shade areas. And so dappled areas and places to hide. And so it can be nice and warm up top, but at the bottom, it's going to be a lot cooler. And so this one gives this baby a lot of microenvironments to choose from. And that's the drawback of having a baby in a small cage, is the smaller the cage, the fewer microclimates you're going to be able to have. That's just physics. So putting them in a large cage like this gives them so much more freedom, so much more options. And so I absolutely love that. All right. So we got you. We got you. Yeah, wonderful. Marcia Head says, I love the feeder. Yes, that's a Neymar's feeder. We're going to get to that a little bit more. Don't know about you guys, but I'm so glad Bill made Saturday a two. What? Oh my goodness. I didn't even realize. I haven't looked at the time. Oh my goodness. Change, don't change. You don't let them know. What I call the baby highway at top. Yeah. Now, one thing you do want to watch out for is when you have those adult lights up top, you want to make sure that the baby isn't crawling across the top of the cage, because those are powerful lights, as they should be. And the wonderful thing about having a hybrid cage is they can't reach the top. There's smooth surfaces, so they won't reach the top. You just have to make sure that you don't have something going so where they can reach the top, because they're very clever about figuring that out. Says zip ties and dowels are definitely temporary. We want to naturalize the cage more. He almost never hides as well. Loves the pothos. Perfect. Yeah, and every baby is going to have their own personality. So you will get to know everybody. When I give advice and review, I give it from the general perspective. That the advice I give, the directions I give, the care guides, those are all the baseline that you start from. That is the safest. That is going to be the best for the widest number of chameleons. You start with that. And then you observe your chameleon, because that chameleon right there, he's the expert. He knows more than any of us about chameleon husbandry. And so listen to him. So, yeah, they all have their own personality. And the thing is, in a cage like this, there's so many places that he can hide that, he's never far away from a place of security. It's perfect. Nate and I were talking about dappling light today. How cool, we're all on the same wave. Yeah, it's good stuff. Chameleons like dappled light. They live on the forest edge. I mean, panthers actually live everywhere. These guys, you go to Madagascar, they're crossing the road, they're in gardens, they're in trees, they're in hedges, they're all over the place. Okay. Not looking at the clock is a sure sign of having fun. Okay. He is such a bold chameleon. And says no way for him to get to the screen. Excellent. So one thing I want to say is all of those plants at the bottom, they look great. I would consider moving them out. Not that they're dangerous to the chameleon or anything, but they are going to be light starved, especially as that pothos up there grows. It is going to take up more and more of the light, and anything down at the bottom of the cage is going to be light starved. So those plants, I am afraid to say, are going to slowly die. Now, you can get around that by putting more plant lights, more LED bars up on top. And if you notice the cage, cage behind me does that. I have all of my hanging plants to one side, and then I have the plant on the bottoms of the cage on the other side. And that way there's a light corridor that gets down there. So just take a look at the placement, where your lights are, and then move those plants around so there's a direct line of light down to the plants. Pothos is great in our cages. I love it. And I love it because it grows and expands, but that just chokes out the plants underneath it. So, All right. And so that's just a different view. And then we have, the, um, the eating. Now, make sure that he doesn't use the feeder as a way to get up top on the top of the cage, because that would be just like them to be able to do that. Chameleons are good at that kind of stuff. But what I love here is we have things in the middle of the cage, and then we have the feeder cup over there. And so it's going to be very easy for them to say keep the cup in the middle of the cage, fruit flies, and then have in the feeder, the Neymar's feeder cup, just put pinhead crickets in there. And so you can get a variety. And if you consider getting a fruit cup, so just get a cup and mash a bunch of banana in it, and then just put your fruit flies in that banana, then the fruit flies will stay on that banana because they don't want to go anywhere else. And they will literally lay eggs, have larvae, and those larvae will hatch in that banana in your cage. And you'll be raising your own fruit flies for your chameleon. And he's going to be eating fruit flies for a little while. Now, he'll eat fruit flies for a little while, but it's going to be the crickets that are going to put some weight on him. And so I would encourage you, as soon as you can, start adding crickets to his diet. You don't have to. It's going to help him grow. The fruit flies, they love fruit flies, but they don't grow fast on fruit flies. So, wait. He ignored my comment, so that's confirmation. Is there something? Well, what did Robin say? Oh, wait a minute. James, he did it so he has less time for the Parsons guy. Oh, there's no time for the Parsons guy. Oh, man, I'm sorry, everybody. You people, I'm getting there. Yes, everybody. There's a Parsons guide coming. I worked on it this morning, actually. Yeah. Let's see. I was mainly trying to give him cover if he was down there for any reason. And it's a good thing. You're thinking the right way. And it will give him cover if he's down there for any reason. It's a good idea to have things down there, so if he goes down, he doesn't get trapped on the bottom for whatever reason. Just know that you're going to have to make sure that light gets down there or the plants will die. Yeah. And honestly, my choice would be add more light up top and create those light corridors going down, because I love the idea of having pothos on one side trailing down, and then on the other side having alocasia, monstera, even schefflera growing up. And so it's like they meet, but there's like one side goes down and the other side is coming up. I do like that strategy. The banana trick works great. Yes, the banana trick. Oh, yeah, I've got that going on for my little guy right now. And then I have my first fruit fly larvae, larvae, swimming around now. For anybody wondering what's going on, when I have baby chameleons, you get people saying, hey, how do I make sure fruit flies can't get out of the cage? You don't have to worry about that. All you have to do is give a little deli cup, get some banana, mash the banana in. The only thing a fruit fly wants to do in his life is eat fruit. And so if you give them banana mash, they will spend their entire lives there. They don't want to get out of the cage. In fact, wild fruit flies will come from outside into the cage. So everybody wants a banana, and the chameleon can just sit there and zap all the fruit flies it wants to. It's perfect. So that's what we do. And if you keep that banana mash not flooded and make sure that you keep putting banana in there, you will get life cycles of fruit flies right there in your baby chameleon cage. You will start with flightless fruit flies, and you will end up with a buzzing cloud of fruit flies, and your chameleon has as much food as it wants whenever it wants to. It's there all the time. The only drawback to that is that fruit flies don't put on weight, not like crickets do. So you want to supplement their diet with the crickets, and hopefully your chameleon eats both and doesn't decide to just eat fruit flies. Anyway, is it disaster if your chameleon grows slower? No, it's not disaster at all. So don't, nothing to stress about. Just, a little bit of information to work with. We have adjusted it 2 times because of that. Probably talking about the feeder, because they are clever at crawling up. So what you could do is just loop the feeder down on one of those structural dowels that you have there, and that should do fine. Doesn't have to be up there. Love to try the banana thing, but mine are too big now. You know what, Monica? That's why we have babies, and that's why you need another baby. So just stick around this community. We are going to be having a whole lot of babies coming out at the end of this year, beginning of next year. This community is going to have lots of babies around. So if anybody wants to get involved with baby chameleons, just stick around here, and you will be in the right place. There's half a banana in the feeder sticking out. Oh, is that what that is? Okay, you've already got that figured out. We want to use crickets, but are worried about them remaining in the cage and biting him while he sleeps. All right, that you don't have to. That is not a real concern when you have a cage this big, especially not at this age. There are crickets that, like the black crickets, those, and like the Jamaican crickets. There are some crickets that, there's something you got to watch out for. But when you're talking about pinhead crickets and the very small, very young crickets inside of a feeder like that, they're not going to be roaming the branches looking for your chameleon. They will get down at the bottom of the cage and they will hide under the pots. So in your particular case, with your chameleon in this size cage with that feeder run cup, you're not going to have a problem with pinhead crickets being a danger to your chameleon. So, and Janet is on silkworm duty. Excellent. Excellent. James is saying, as much as I like having plants on the bottom, it also becomes a problem if I'm trying to pay attention to poops. Plants on the bottom tend to hide the poop very well. This is absolutely correct. Yeah, it is a problem. Our monstera's aerial roots are going nuts. Yes, yes, they do. Let's see. Fruit flies are certainly nutrient poor. In the dart frog world, we dust them with a very dense supplements, Repashy Calcium Plus, every single feeding. Wonder if that would be acceptable with cats. Yes, yes. We generally, with chameleons, we don't supplement. We supplement very lightly at the beginning. Their supplementation can give our chameleons edema, and so we generally start after a couple of weeks, and maybe 2 weeks. Then we can do a little bit of calcium and then add in Repashy Calcium Plus. We go like the low D. That is my favorite. I'd stay away from the Calcium Plus because it's just, there's a lot there. And we've had problems with some chameleons getting edema. Now, panther chameleons are resistant. They can take Repashy Calcium Plus, but you don't need all of that. So I used the low D, and it has low D is both low D and low A, but that gives enough for what the chameleon needs. We got a problem in the chameleon community that we give them too much supplementation. The thing is, I'm not sure how much is not enough. And so when we have that level of ambiguity, we don't know exactly what chameleons need. You know, we keep giving what we can, what we have to make sure that they're healthy. And sooner or later, we're going to work out exactly how much we have to do. But we haven't worked that out yet. We dust our flies. Okay. We also use Repashy Superfly. And so that is the food for fruit flies. Robin says, I have babies. Well, Robin, you know what? That's interesting. You know what? Right now, what babies do you have? I'd be very interested to know what babies you are. Are these just babies that you are raising or babies that you are selling? But go ahead, tell us the species that you're working with, that you have babies. Oh, Panthers and Jacksons. Oh, yeah, she's got the Machacos Hills or Yellow Crested. Xantholophus or Jacksonii. Janet says, I can do 20 babies. And I'm positive everyone here will get a Jackson's for great. Oh, wait a minute, Janet, you've got to tell us. Did that Jackson that you are babysitting, did it give you babies? I haven't heard anything about that yet, but Janet was babysitting a Jackson's chameleon that was a pet that was coming from Hawaii. And we knew that we look at that and we said, yep, that one's gravid. We don't know when it's going to give you babies. And so the question was she going to get babies before she gave it to the owner? So is she going to get who's going to get the babies? That's the question. Silkworms need to be, yes. If you don't babysit your silkworms, they grow up to be lawbreakers. Now Robin is finding people that want Jacksons. So small ones will work safely. Okay, are you talking? I'm sorry, I'm behind in the chat a little bit, 3 minutes behind. So if you're talking about the pinhead crickets, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. All right. Jerry is asking, are there any light meters you recommend other than the $250 Solometer 6.5? Something less expensive, perhaps. Jerry is talking about measuring UV index, so we know how much UVB there is in the cage to make sure there's enough. Jerry, I am sorry to say that the Solometer 6.5 is the only one that works. I wish that there was a less expensive UVB meter out there that actually worked for what we needed. Unfortunately, for the last 10, 20 years, I don't know how long it's been, the solar meter has been the one and only that has really worked. And the thing is, there's a lot of cheap things that you can find on Amazon, like, oh, this changes color with UVB and all this kind of stuff. It's not reliable. And the Solometer 6.5 is a serious scientific instrument. Like they've got calibration services and such. So the price tag reflects that it's a serious scientific instrument. And the thing is, it's expensive. I know, and I wish it were less expensive, because I think the Solometer is the number one best way to improve your husbandry once you've got the cage set up. And so I wish it was less expensive. Unfortunately, there just isn't one that's reliable, that's cheaper. So I'm sorry to say, Jerry, there isn't. Solometer 6.5 is the only game out there worth spending your money on. People have tried the cheaper ones, and it's just a waste of money. And UVB is so important. Everybody, I'm sorry to say, but it's worth it. It's worth investing the $250. Yeah. So, second Jerry's comment. Yeah, I wish they were cheaper. And the thing is, the cheap people or the cheap manufacturers know that people want a cheaper device, and so they keep making things trying to get people to buy cheaper devices. And the thing is, we've yet to find one that actually works. And so you got to be really careful about all the promises of cheaper devices, because they're preying on people who really would like a cheaper device. And I wish there was. So, yeah, Steve, sadly, that's the only meter for our needs. The only one that'll work, James says. Yep. Okay. James, you and Bill are sharing a brain right now. Nate says, I did UVB checks today, so here is my pay it forward reminder. Yeah, everybody. All right, everybody. Today is the day to check your UVB. It's a good idea to do it on a regular basis. It's amazing. I sometimes your UVB just stops. I was filming a video for YouTube, and I was saying, okay, so you always want to check your UVB. So I checked my UVB, and the bulb had gone off. And I mean, UVB, there was no UVB coming out of the bulb. And I wouldn't have known unless I was doing that video. So yeah, good idea to do these kind of checks on a regular basis. What the heck? Two Turtle Tom is here? Yeah, I am going late. I didn't check the time. So Jennifer is saying with the solar meter, you save money in the long run because you end up having to not replace UVB bulbs as often as recommended. Highly recommend Love Mine. That is absolutely correct. And if I know $250 is a lot to spend at one point. If you look at it over the years, you do save that. Not only is it good husbandry, but you do save that because you don't have to get rid of your bulbs because you think, okay, I got to get rid of it just to be safe and replace it just to be safe. You literally can use those bulbs for possibly twice their lifespan just because you know what UVB is coming out of it. You can raise and lower it so you keep getting effective UVB out of it. So it does pay for itself. So says, gonna have to start saving my nickels and yep. It's worth it. I gotta say, it's worth it. So Tom's here. I don't think we can do a 3-hour show. My voice won't stand. I won't do 3 hours. Oh. All right, everybody. Whew. What a day. Oh my goodness. We have done a 2-hour show today. Oh my. Thank you very much for joining me here. If you got any last questions, put them down in there because what the heck, we'll do last questions. But this has been an amazing show. I still owe you a discussion about foggers. We were supposed to do that like last week, and I just ran over. So how about next week we do a discussion about foggers because there's a lot of confusion out there about how you use fog and how it should be used. And so it's probably a good thing to go over. And so I think next week we'll have a week on foggers. And let's see. Oh, wait a minute. It's not it's not late. It's the new normal. Oh, by the way, Mikey Ben has got a great idea. Once the bulbs are low on UVB, give them to friends with reptiles that require less UVB, like crested geckos. Let them buy you feeders. That is a great idea. Thank you very much. I hadn't thought about that. So, everybody, thank you so very much for being here. And I'll send you off to have a great weekend. Remember, if you're coming to the in-person meetup, RSVP, email me if you need the link. If you're on the virtual campus, find the link there. And if you're interested in any of those Panther Chameleons, please email me. Or, of course, if you're on the virtual campus, message me there. And so I'm going to be slowly having a lot of chameleons for sale because my shamrocks are due to hatch around October. And I need to go to my next chapter in life by then. So I'll need to find homes. You'll be seeing things being offered just because, and I'll let you know exactly what I'm doing. I'm making room because I'm going to be having a lot of hatchlings, and I'm going to be breeding that one species, and I want to focus on that one species. And so self-discipline, I am modeling it. I am modeling the self-discipline that I keep saying is so great. And now I've hoisted myself by my own petard, and I need to put my money where my mouth is. So if you would like to give one of those chameleons a home, please email me or message me on the virtual campus. Oh yeah. Hey, Tom, that's right. Okay, Tom, you get first right approval. I'm going to let you, I am selling these chameleons, the ones that we all watched grow up, and there is Dorito. And so if Paige would like Dorito, because Paige, his daughter, named Dorito, you let me know if you are interested in a Panther chameleon, and you will have first right of approval for Dorito. Jennifer saying, what is the most direct way to access the live? I can never find it. Today was luck. Go to the YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed to Chameleon Academy Live. And when you're on there, you are able to, there's this like bell that you can hit the bell. And that way it'll make sure that you get the notifications. Because yes, YouTube and all social media, they don't show you what you subscribe to anymore. You have to actually tell YouTube that you want notifications. Yeah, find that notification. It's a bell icon. So go to the Chameleon Academy Live profile, and by the subscribe area, you should be able to, I think you can tap the subscribe area. Let me go check for a oh sheesh. Yeah, so if you go to right below the this window that you see, you're going to see an icon that's a bell. And so click that chevron and just click it so it's you get the all click, so all notifications, and that means that you will get notifications when you come to YouTube that there's a live. So my wife would kill me, but what a way to go. All right. It looks like Dorito is open to anybody who would love Dorito. Your loss, our gain. Oh boy. And Mikey Ben says, take it from me, wife may want to kill you, but foot rub will help them forget fast. Oh, okay, everybody. It has been wonderful spending these 2 hours with you. Go have a great Saturday. Have a great Sunday. I'll be back Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific for open question and answer session. Go be good human beings, and I'll see you next time.